Hello, everybody. Hello, children. Hello, parents. Hello, guardians. Hello, brothers and sisters. And hello to everybody who makes sure and takes care of children, making sure that they receive the best care ever. Okay? So I want to share something small with you today. And this is in regards to the lesson and some of the things that we are doing. It is such a great privilege that we have this opportunity to be able to share together the word of the Lord, to be able to learn the word of the Lord, not just with the children, but also with everybody as a family. So what I would like to ask you is that I want all of us to be able to participate for the next 30 minutes or so together with the children. Okay? One of the things that we realize is that children best learn when they receive help and assistance. Okay, so it is there for us as parents, as guardians, as older brothers and sisters to be able to help the children even as we continue learning. Okay, some of the things that we do is that we are able to read the Bible together with the children. So even as we read the Bible, some children are still very young and they are not able to read the Bible. So I would like for you to be able to open the scriptures with them and be able to read with them. As we give the story, even as we say the story, some children could lose attention and they could get distracted with a thing or two here and there. It is there for us, as parents, as guardians, and just to help the children to pay a little bit more attention and even to ask questions and to ask them to keep on concentrating. When we are doing our arts and craft, okay, we realize that some of the children are still very young and they're not able to either write, color, or even cut out some of the things that we are doing. It is there for our place as parents, guardians, and even older brothers and sisters to be able to help them through that. The other thing about the art and craft, this is something that can be a reminder, okay, for the whole week until we do our lesson again, or even a continuous reminder of some of the lessons that we are learning with the children. As we go through the Bible, one step at a time, I would like to ask you, parents and guiders and everybody else, just as a family as a whole, that you would be there to be able to help to grow our children. Okay, I want to share with you a scripture which is found in Luke chapter 2 verse 52, and this is what he says. Jesus grew up into a man. He became strong and he could understand more and more things. People thought that he was a good man, and God also thought well of him. Okay, this is where we get our theme, where we say growing up in God's ways. As children, as the children continue growing, I want us as parents, as guidance, as brothers and sisters, as a family as a whole, to help children to grow in God's way. So welcome to our lesson today, and I hope that God will bless you in everything that we do.
Hi kids! Welcome to our lesson today. We are so excited to have you here. Yes, and as you're going to learn more about the children of Israel and about Moses and how God led them to the promised land.
Yes.
So today we have a very exciting and very important lesson. Yes. But before that, let's recap what we did last time. You remember we talked about the covenant. Or the agreement. Yes, and we say that God made an agreement with Abraham. And so when he made an agreement with Abraham, it's actually a covenant. He made a covenant with Abraham, and then he promised Abraham that his descendants would be as many as the grains of sand. And his family grew and it was so as God had promised. So then God wanted to make a covenant with the children of Israel. And so he told Moses everything that he needed them to do. And so God promised to keep his side of the covenant, which was to take care of the children of Israel and to lead them to the promised land. And then the children of Israel were supposed to obey God and to keep his commands.
The commands were the 10 commandments that we learned.
And plus the other laws that God had given them. They were supposed to keep God's command. So that was the two sides of the covenant. So after Moses had read out all the laws to the children of Israel, so that they were sure what they were getting into, they were so excited, and they were like, yes, we'll keep the commands, we'll obey God. They were so sure. So Moses built an altar and he placed 12 large stones to represent the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And so then there was animal that they slaughtered to sacrifice to God. So that blood, Moses sprinkled it on the people.
Yeah, he actually splashed it on the people.
So these acted as a seal for the covenant they had made.
Yes.
And this acted to show them that it was something very, very serious.
Yes.
So after Moses did that, we left at, we were sure that God was going to keep his side, but we needed to see if the children of Israel would keep their side of the covenant.
Yeah.
So that is where we start today.
So that's where we start, okay? So God was sure that we know that God would keep his covenant.
Yes.
Because our God is a covenant keeping God. Okay? So today we are going to learn about something else very special that God actually asked the children of Israel to do. Okay, so at that time Moses went back to the mountain and he was praying and he was talking to God. So God told him, I want you to build for me a special tent.
Wow.
Okay, you remember the children of Israel, where were they living?
So the children of Israel used to live in tents.
Yes.
They would pitch their tents in anywhere, like in the desert, anywhere that the presence of God stopped. You remember the pillar of fire and the pillar of cloud? Yes, when it stopped, they pitched the tent and they took up.
Yes, so they were living in tents, okay? And they didn't even have a building where God could come and live in. They were not living in buildings. They did not have a place for God to come and live in. So what God told Moses is, I want you to build for me a special tent. And he also gave them instructions and told them how how they were going to build this special tent. And so Moses was wondering, okay, so how are we going to do it? But God also made another promise. And he told them that he told Moses that I will be able to give you skilled men. Okay, men that had the ability to build this tent. Okay, so the names of these men were Bezalel and Oholiab. Okay, so they were able to do. They were carpenters. They were able to work with wood, but they were also able to work with silver and gold. Okay, so these two men were skilled men that God promised Moses and said that they are going to be able to build for me this special, very special tent.
Wow! So it's amazing that God already knew what He wanted.
He knew,
and He had already even placed and named the people that He knew He was going to use to make what He wanted.
So God already knows. There's a lot of things that we do even with ourselves, but God already knows that if He gives you work, He knows that He will give you the skills and He will give you the ability. Okay, so one of the things that they needed to build in the tent, okay, they needed to make sure that the covering of the tent was made out of goat's hair.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and the other covering, so this is goat's hair, but it's under sheep's skin. Okay, so that was one of the coverings of the tent. Okay, the other thing that was also there in the tent is that it had many furnishings. There was the table of shewbread, there were the candlesticks, there was the brazen altar, there was the altar where they put the sacrifice. Okay, there was the altar where they burnt the incense. All these things were furnishings that were supposed to be in there, and most of these furnishings were made out of silver and gold. Okay, so Moses number one has been given skilled men who are going to be able to build the tabernacle and be able to build the tent of God, okay, which was also called the tabernacle. It was the tent of God, but it was also called the tabernacle,
or also the tent of meeting.
The tent of meeting, yes. Okay, so there was the tabernacle, and there was the either the tabernacle or the tent that God was actually going to build, and there were all these furnishings. Okay, now the thing about the furnishings over there, the way they were made. Okay, they were made in such a way that they could be taken apart.
Oh, okay.
They could be taken apart and they could be carried. Okay, so one of the things that they had, the furnishings of the tent, is they had long poles, okay, where they put everything, and the poles would enable them to be able to carry. You remember the presence of God was moving from one place to another. So every time the presence of God moved, they had to pack up everything and be able to carry it. So what this tent had, it actually had poles. Okay?
So this means the children of Israel could not make a permanent structure.
They could not make a permanent structure
because they were always on the move. And so they needed to move with the tent. So anywhere they went, they carried their tent, and then they would they will put it back together.
Exactly how God had actually told them to do. Okay, now let me talk about something else. In this tent, okay, you remember we talked about there was an altar where they burnt incense, where there was sweet smelling fragrance, and they always had to burn it. Okay, there was also a table of showbread. Okay, and they used to put 12 loaves of bread there, representing the 12 tribes. Yes, and they also had a candle stand on one end that had actually 7 candles on it. Okay, so then now there was a special place that was called the most holy place. You know, and sometimes some people call it the Holy of Holies. Okay, so this very special place was behind very thick curtains. Okay, and what God had put in this special place, there was actually a box. Okay, it was like a chest. It was almost the size of a desk. Okay, now this chest was made out of wood. Okay, it was made out of wood, and then it was covered with gold. Okay, it was made out of wood, but it was covered with gold. But then now the other thing is that this chest, it actually had a lid and a cover on it. Now this cover was made out of pure gold.
So there's the chest, and it's made of wood.
Yes.
Then it's covered
with gold. Yes.
And then the lid is pure gold.
It was pure gold. Okay. But then now there was something else very special on top of this chest. Okay. So there were 2 angels. Let me call them 2 cherubims. Okay. And they had their wings spread out. Okay. Now these wings, the way they were spread out, it symbolized the way God was going to be able to cover all the wrongdoings of the children of Israel. Okay. So it was a symbol of how God was covering. Okay. So there are all these things. There are about 7 items and 7 things that needed to be in this tent. So then now Moses was wondering, how am I going to get all these things? Where am I going to get all these materials? And they were expensive materials.
Yes, because they're in the wilderness.
Yes.
There's no shop like they could go and get
and start purchasing all this gold and everything.
God had said he wants gold, he wants silver, he wants goat skin, he wants all these things, and they needed to be exactly what God had said.
Yes. So now Moses was wondering, where am I going to get all this? But when he asked God, where am I going to get all these materials? God told him that you go talk to the children of Israel, because God knew that the children of Israel were ready. They were so ready to give all these things. So children, that is our lesson for today. This is such an exciting story. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about the tabernacle and the tent. Okay, and the things that were inside there, and some of the things that they were able to put inside this tent. Okay, but the thing is this: God wanted to come and dwell with his people. And that is why he told them, because I want to come and dwell with the people, that is why I want you to make a special tent where I'm able to come and dwell in there. And the other thing that actually happened, you remember the pillar of fire?
Yes, the pillar of fire
and the pillar of cloud. Okay, so it used to be somewhere, and it would lead them, and they would look up and see it. But this time round, it just came and settled on that tent, on that special tent. So at night it was fire, and during the day it was a cloud. And the people knew that God was actually right there in the tent. So for us children, God wants to build a tent in our hearts. This is the special place that God wants to be. But then it is for you to give him your heart. Like the way the children of Israel gave, it is for you to give him your heart so that he can be able to build a special tent where he can come and dwell in.
Actually the thing is, you need to lay down everything that you consider precious for God to settle in your heart. And then the other amazing thing is that God, the tent was actually in the middle, because the 12 tribes of Israel,
they were around.
They were around the tent. That means that God was the center of everything. God was at the center, as at the core, at the very core of
everything that they did. So that's our lesson for today. Okay, so then now what I want us to do is, I want all of us to stand up. Okay, and we will sing a very important song that will remind us about this tent, where they were able to build this tent. Okay, and how God enabled them to be able to build this tent. So I want everybody to stand up. Everybody stand up, so that now we can be able to sing together. Okay. So I hope everybody's standing up. If you're not standing, I want you to stand up, stand up. We want to sing a song together with you today, okay? And it's a wonderful song. I hope you're going to enjoy it. We are so glad that we have Shiro, and she's going to help us be able to sing this song, okay? It's got quite a number of words, but we'll have the words down there scrolling so you can be able to read the words and sing. If you don't get the song the first time, play it again, read the words until you're able to get the words together. So are we ready to start our song?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start together.
God told Moses, I want you to build a place for me so I can stay with you. Build a tabernacle. What's a tabernacle? You've got the people, they have got the skill. Put them together and then you will build a tabernacle. Not too big to tackle, but it's a big job. You're gonna need a lot of help. If you get together, don't do it by yourself. Build a tabernacle. Not too big to tackle. Aaron was a priest, tribe of Judah, elbow grease, built the stones and the wood, and down helped where he could. The women spun the yarn and the linen of all kind, and Moses saw together they had built a very fine, fine tabernacle. Woo. They had tackled. So all together now, the Bible shows us how. When we work together, we can do much more than we ever could on our own. The Bible's full of cooperation. Every people and every nation knows that's always better when you work together. All together, if we work like we should, we can get more done than we ever could. If we work together, then it's always better. So we work together, and it's always better. Yay!
Okay, so we are here to do our craft for today, okay, and it's a very exciting craft. Remember, we're talking about the tabernacle and that there was a very special box, okay, and that box, on top of that box, there were two cherubims, okay. A lot of times people confuse cherubims to angels, okay, but it's specific. Cherubims actually have wings, okay. Cherubims are the ones that have wings, and so now on the tabernacle, the cherubims had their wings covering like on top of the box, okay. That's where they had their wings. So what we're going to do is we're going to be able to make angels or cherubims. Let me call them cherubims, okay,
yeah, because they have wings.
Yes, cherubims actually have wings, and that's how we know that they're cherubims. So what you're going to need some pieces of A4 paper, okay. How many are these? These are 5. So you're going to need 5 pieces of A4 papers, and that's what we are going to use to be able to do our craft today, okay. So then now what we're going to do with our A4 papers is do something that is a lot of fun, okay. When we were growing up, we used to do it a lot when we were making different types of things, and so we can use it even for this craft. And I know the most common thing that we were so used to doing is to making like a fan that you can fan yourself. So if you know how to make a fan, you'll be able to make this, okay. So what we do is we're going to take we put these other pieces of paper aside, okay, and we're going to use one of these pieces of paper, and we're going to do what is called a Constantini. Okay, so what we do is when you're folding, don't make them too small. Make sure your folds are not too small and they are not too big, because if you make them too big or too small, you will not be able to do it. So you fold your paper, and it has to be lengthwise, okay. So you fold your paper one end, you turn it over, and then you keep going all the way to the other end, and make sure you're able to measure up. Like I've always said, children, if you're not able to do this, please ask a grown-up to help you, your older brother or sister or somebody who's with you, to be able to help you do this. But this is something fun to be able to do. I can see Teacher Rachel, you're going so fast.
Yes, I already got my rhythm.
You already got your rhythm, yeah. So let me see if I can get my rhythm here so that we can be able to do this. So you go all the way until you end up on the other side. Okay? So when you're done, this is what you'll get. A piece of paper that's all done on one end. Okay? So you do that and you get that and you put that aside. Then you get the other piece of paper that you already have and you do the exact same thing. Kind of like make sure they are the same size with the other one, so you don't fold very thin ones on this one. So you kind of like measure it, making sure that you just are able to follow the pattern so that they are all the same size. So you fold, turn it over and fold and turn it over, on and on and on until you get to the end. So I'm done with that one and I've gotten to the end. Now you have both of them that are folded and you've gotten to the end. So what you do is make sure that they are both together, okay, and you fold both of them, not halfway through but a quarter way through. Remember, don't fold it halfway through, you fold a quarter way through and you fold it that way downward. Okay, so you make sure you fold it like a quarter way through. So one side is long and the other one is a little bit short, and fold both of them together so that the fold or the crease is exactly in the same place. Okay, so after you're done doing that, okay, now here comes a little bit of a difficult part. So what we'll do is we'll take these ones and put them aside. Then we'll get the other piece of paper that we have, and on the, not on the width but on the length side. The length side is actually the longer one. So what we're going to do is we're going to be able to fold just one fold, okay, a thick kind of fold on that end. Okay, today it's all about folding, okay, and when you fold that, you fold it again. I mean, not the Constantini way we're doing, but just fold it. And make sure the creases are like, you know, you crease them completely, and you will figure out in the next few minutes why we make sure that these creases are complete. So you just need like to fold it like about 4 times, like you have 4 pieces of fold. Then now you get a pair of scissors. Okay, so that's the scissors that we're going to use for today. You get your pair of scissors, and I will repeat this. Children, if you're not able to use scissors very well, please ask somebody to help you. Okay, so what we are going to do is cut through the crease. You remember why we were creasing it very hard down? Yeah. Is so that we can get a line to cut through. Okay, and do it slowly and carefully so you don't go off on one end. So you make sure you go through and cut the strips of paper. Okay, so we've gotten to the end, and then go again to the other side and cut the strip of paper. So you do this until you're done with all the strips of paper. So what we're doing is we have like about 4 strips of paper, and you will soon know why we have 4 strips of paper. Okay, so are you done with cutting your 4 strips of paper? So there we have, okay, so we have our 4 strips of paper right there. Okay, so we put them out so that we can be able to see them. Okay, today we are going to use something else. Okay, so if you have like toothpick or what do you call this, a skewer, or just a thin stick, this is what you're going to use. I did not have any of those things, but I have a nail. Okay, so we are going to use a nail. Okay, we are not going to hammer anything. Okay, but we are going to use this nail, and we are going to be able to roll this piece of strip that we actually have. Okay, so I'm going to show you what you do. So you put the nail on one end, okay, and you roll it. So you can use anything. If you have a stick and you're able to do this, and then you roll, making sure that that strip of paper is all rolled around your nail. Okay, so we are going to roll this piece of paper all around and make sure it's rolled all around the nail. So when we get to the end, almost getting to the end, we will take the other piece of strip of paper, okay, and then using our glue, we're going to put a little bit of glue right at the end there, okay, and after we put that glue, make sure you don't put a lot of glue, because a lot of times what happens if you put a lot of glue, it doesn't stick quickly. And then you make sure you connect that piece of paper together there, and then very carefully, especially when you come to where it has joined together, just do it very slowly. So you continue all the way, okay, and glue sometimes doesn't stick as easily as you want it to stick. It can slide around, so you roll it, okay. So after rolling it, you pull out the nail, okay, and then what you're left with is with a piece of paper that looks like this, okay. So it's all like a spiral, and then one side is sticking out, okay. So what we are going to do with this piece of paper is we are going to be able to connect it here. Remember the two other pieces of paper that we had, okay. So we'll put that aside so it can actually dry a little bit, okay, and then we'll pick up the other two pieces of paper that we had. Now what we'll do, on one end we'll put some glue, on the other end we'll put some more glue, okay, not complete, not so that they can actually be this way. Can you see that where we folded it up? So you put some glue right here, okay, so that you can be able to stick that. You remember the way we folded it?
Yes.
So you take a bit of glue and put it on the shorter side, okay. Don't put it on both sides, just put it on the shorter side, okay. And then when you put your glue right there, you fold it down this way and you hold it down together tightly. Okay, so you make sure you hold it down and it's tight on that side. Okay, we are holding it for a while so that the glue can be able to stick. Okay, so we'll put that aside, okay, and then we'll be able to take the other piece of paper. So on this side, where it's on the short side, that's what you're going to stick together, and that's the side that you're going to be able to put the glue. Please make sure that you do not put a lot of glue. Yeah.
Or maybe you can use a stick glue.
Yeah, you can use a, yes, you can use a glue stick. It actually works better. Yeah, so you don't have to have the watery glue, but we are putting very little glue. Okay, so when you put that, you hold it down and you make sure that it sticks together. I know some of you are wondering how this angel will become an angel. So
wait and see.
We stick and we wait and see. Okay, hopefully this glue, these two pieces of paper are stuck, okay, because of the glue. So what we do is we open it a little bit and you open it a little bit. So what you'll have, it's like a piece of paper that's triangular, you know, with all the folds and the concertinas done, and we try and pull this other side up. Make sure when you're pulling, you're a bit careful, because if the glue is not yet dry, it won't be able to dry. Now, do you remember the piece of paper that we had right here? The one that we had rolled out, okay? So this is what we'll use, like a guide, and it will help us. Make sure it's a little bit open, it's not all tight. When you make your spiral, make sure it's a little bit open and it's not tight, okay? Because if it's tight, it won't do what we want it to do, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm trying to open mine just a little bit, okay? I open it and then I let it roll back, okay? So after I let it roll back, I kind of like fold it where the joint was, okay? And this is what I will have. This is like having the head of the angel, you know, so that we are making an angel. We don't make an angel that does not have a head. So you see, one side, there's a long strip of paper and then it's all spiraled up. Now this other side, the longer side, we'll actually take some more glue and stick on one end all the way. And making sure that we are not putting a lot of it, so we put it all the way. Okay? And then what we do is we take this spiral that we had, making sure that the round side is up, up, up. Okay? And then on the other side, we put still a little bit of glue on the paper that we had. Make sure you don't put a lot of glue, because if you put a lot of glue, it becomes too wet and it's not able to stick. Okay? So I put some more glue. Okay? And then when I put some more glue, I take these two pieces of paper and I join them. Okay? So remember, kids, whenever you glue something, you have to hold it down for a while. Yes, for it to hold. Okay, so I'll hold mine down for a while and it has all joined up. Okay, so always remember to hold it down for a while so that it can all hold up. So when I'm done doing that, I'll open this up and raise that just a little bit. Okay, and this can be a very difficult part to do, so if you need help, please make sure you get help. So when you're done, this is how your angel is going to look. Okay, so that's the angel that we have. Okay, and this is a very good representation of the picture of the angel that we want to put on top. Not the angel, we call them the cherubim.
The cherubim.
Yes, I know we are so used to calling them angels, but actually the Bible says that they were cherubim. So when we hold it up like that, and that's what we have, and we are able to put it right up there. Okay, so that's the picture of the cherubim that we will make so that they can go on top of the angel. Now children, I want you to take your time when you're making. Don't be in a hurry, because if you're in a hurry, you'll not be able to hold it up. Whenever you put glue, wait for a while, and then after you wait, it will actually be able to stick together so that you can be able to have your cherubim all done with the wings. So the reason why we had the other pieces of paper is because we're going to make two. Remember what we said? How many cherubims are there?
So there are two cherubims on at the Ark of the Covenant.
Yes, yes,
so
and they had their wings up. Okay, so the wings of the angel are out, and that will remind us of the cherubims that were there. So children, I hope you'll be able to make this craft. Please take your time, get somebody to help you if you're not able to, but this is a very nice way to be able to make angels. So that's it for today, okay, and we'll be able to see you next time so that we can finish what happened to the children of Israel and how they were able to be in the tent of the Lord. Okay, so bye for now.